everyone, and welcome to our session today called Extending Business Central with Virtual Tables and Business Events. Idea is here to show how we will extend Business Central and connect it with Dataverse and some other external systems. So before we start with this, I will just introduce myself. My name is Milan Milinčević. I come from Norway currently, where I work as a Business Central tech lead for BDO. I started my career 7 years ago as a web developer. Then 5 years ago, I switched to Business Central and a Vision World, where I stay until now. And I try to be as much as active in community as I can. So I try to write blog posts, speak at different conferences, even together with my colleague Renato and with Marin here. We co-founded this BC user group meetups in Croatia, where basically every month we have different meetups about different dynamics topics. Also, there is another small thing that I'm very proud of, and this is a BC Maximizer. If you didn't try it, give it a try. This is just a simple browser extension that maximizes Business Central pages. So it is available on Edge and Chrome web stores.
Okay, thank you, Milan, for your introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you had a nice lunch, and welcome again to my session. My name is Renato. I also came from Zagreb, so I'm in Dynamics world for around 10 years. Started as a developer, switched my career to consultant, and currently I'm leading a team of consultants for Dynamics and SAP. Last 5 years, I'm a Microsoft MVP for business applications with more details about Business Central and Power Platform. Together with Milan, you will find us on various conferences around the world. And of course, if you ever join and you are in Zagreb, last week in a month, join to our session into our community in BizSource user group. Regarding today and why we are here today is our agenda, of course, and what we are going to show you how we can integrate Business Central or extend Business Central with Dataverse. And we are going to talk and see what is the Dataverse in general, and why do we need Dataverse in our business case. We prepared one business case and application that we are going to show you through whole scenarios of data sync, business events, and virtual tables. After that, we will go in deep. What is data sync, how you can use it, how you can extend it as well, and use it in Business Central. What are virtual tables, how you can use them, what are scenarios, and so on. Business events, something new that we have in Business Central, so very interesting concept that will help us to somehow extend Business Central functionalities inside the Power Platform, in my case. And of course, one of the most important parts is telemetry. Let's find out how our business events are performing, APIs, and so on. And of course, at the end, we have a few t-shirts for your questions. So, agenda is here. Let's start with why do we need Dataverse and what is actually Dataverse. And according to Microsoft, it's a data storage and management layer for business applications or for data that is needed for your business applications. It is easily connected to your old existing Dynamics 365 ecosystem as well, plus Power Platform. When you have Dataverse database, you can store your data inside the tables, write them in the columns, and use them in various integration scenarios. We have several applications from Microsoft Dynamics that are built on Dataverse, like Dynamics 365 Sales, Field Service, and so on, which gives us a completely new approach how we can integrate Business Central, because easily we can then bring data from Business Central and combine them with data from Field Service. We have 4 different ways how we can integrate Business Central with Dataverse. The first one are data sync, and those are I would say the oldest one, that you can use to integrate with CRM, with Field Service, with Dataverse as well. Then we have data events, so when something changed in the system, in the Business Central, send me data and store that in Dataverse table. And what we are going to focus today is how we can integrate and use virtual tables and business events. And if you take a look, what is actually Power Platform, we know that we have Copilot Studio to build some chatbots, that we have Power Apps to build model-driven canvas applications. We will build some applications today together. We have Power Automate to build automations and Power Automate flows. We can use Power Automate with business events to trigger various scenarios. You can use Power BI to build analytics, and of course you can build web pages with Power Pages. And of course, with latest release, you can enable virtual entities and use them with Power Pages. So, how this works together? We can connect Business Central directly through connectors. So we have connector for Power App, we have connector for Power Automate, but we also have a Dataverse below where each of these applications that I mentioned earlier can connect to Dataverse. And when we have data in Dataverse, from Business Central, you can build whatever you want. And this is what we want to achieve today, to show you how you can bring data from Business Central, what are different scenarios, present them and store them in Dataverse, and then use various applications. In our case, we will show you primarily Power Apps and Power Automate, but you can see briefly that you can also use and plug your Dataverse to Copilot Studio and have a chat experience with Copilot on your data from Business Central. So that's Dataverse and how we can utilize it with BC. Our business process, we have several, let's say, tables in Business Central, and we imagine that we are going to have a rent-a-car or something related to rent-a-car extension. And we have master data for vehicles, so some new table that doesn't exist in Business Central. And we have document tables, loan header and loan lines. We will see how we can easily connect those to Dataverse. And our process is that, okay, we need to register some vehicles. For this, we can use Power App, model-driven Power App, that will send data to Business Central through data sync. It will create a record in the Business Central table vehicle. After that, we are going to give that car or vehicle to our user, our contact. We will have loan header, loan lines, we will create them. After that, we will publish them and issue that loan or rent-a-car to our contact. We will make our car flag that it is loaned, so no one can use them anymore in other scenarios. After that, when vehicle is returned from the contact, we are going to enter what is the mileage by our field technicians, let's say. And at the end, we will send an email to our contact. Thank you for working with us, and your vehicle is registered that it is returned. And we will release that vehicle because now it's available for other orders. So that's our process, and you will see that we will use a part of BC, Power Apps, model-driven, Power Automate flows to trigger various scenarios. Okay, so now we have Dataverse integration with data sync. So as I said, data sync is something that is in Business Central and NAV world from later days, and we can see this as a connection, bidirectional connection between Business Central and Dataverse or CRM as well in some cases. And it works based on the batch jobs. So when you have data in Business Central, run batch job, and it will replicate your data inside the Dataverse database. So you will have data in both systems, Business Central and Dataverse. Once you have data inside the Dataverse, you can combine and enrich those data with SharePoint data, with some other data sources from your organization. If you take a look how this works inside the Business Central, so we have Business Central in our slide, and we have some table, customer, vendor, contact, or company table. It's visible, perfect. After that, we have on the right side our tables that are automatically provisioned from Dataverse. Those are account table, contact table, and those are the tables that are here that can be custom tables. So Milan will show you that we can easily create our custom scenarios and then connect them with Dataverse very easily. In the middle, we have integration table mapping, where we are going to define what are the rules for sending data to Dataverse from Business Central and returning them back from Dataverse. Here we can see also that customer and vendor data are connected to one table in Dataverse called account. So you will find both those data from both tables in one table in Dataverse account. And also in the Business Central, in the integration tables, you will see data from Dataverse. So you don't need to go each time to Dataverse to check if data is already inside the Dataverse table. Once you have your data flowing from one system to another, you can easily build, as I said, applications or combine with another sources. And where everything's happened and what is the most important setup for us is Dataverse connection setup, because this is the primary point where you are going to set up all integrations related to data sync, virtual tables, business events, and so on. So that's data sync in a nutshell. And now we are going to see how we can easily enable data sync. In my case, I will not enable it again because it would take some time, so I took screenshots while I was preparing for this presentation. So what you need to do, you need to start a process from assisted setup. And in this case, you just accept the terms and conditions, go next. Then you need to choose your Dataverse environment to which you want to connect. Connection is done per company, so you have one Dataverse environment per company, and you cannot have multiple. After that, you need to sign in with your admin account. So you will sign in with an account that will be used for integrations. Okay, once I sign in, I go next in my case. And then what I have to do, I have to choose if I'm going to sign in with team and represent my data as a team or as a person. If I choose person, I will go then and need to select each salesperson will need to be connected with my users. So our recommendation is as well as Microsoft to go with a team, because then you will use business units in Dataverse and so on. And of course, next step is just to synchronize data, and then you will be able to have data sync available. Now I will show you also in the system Dataverse connection setup. So when I log into my BC, I can find Dataverse connection setup. Okay, it takes some time. Okay, and I see that I have enabled data synchronization. What is my Dataverse environment? And I see that it's enabled and that I'm using team as an ownership model. Under the integration, I will find my integration table mappings. If I click on it, you will see that I have some standard table already integrated with Dataverse. And here I will find my vehicle scenario that Milan will show you later about how to integrate it. You can run full synchronization or synchronize only modified records. Or, for example, if you go to mapping, you can create your custom mapping for your fields. When I click here, fields, I will see fields from my table, and I can choose which fields I want to enable or disable for my integration. Also, I can check if, for example, I am allowed that I retrieve data from Dataverse, or I'm only sending data to Dataverse. So do I have bidirectional integration or not? Okay, so this is the mapping. Another important thing that we need to mention are coupling or uncoupling. Coupling is just matching your records between Dataverse and Business Central and defining criteria how you are going to couple your data that is in the Dataverse table with data inside the Business Central table. Okay, what else we can show here and find? We can find how our log of synchronization and how it works. We see that for now everything works smoothly. So that's the setup. And now, Milan, I will give words to you. And now switch to you.
Thanks, Renato. And now, thanks for this lovely demo. And now let's see how can we extend the data sync actually. Because usually these standard tables are maybe not enough for our use cases. So idea is what we can achieve actually is we can enable add custom fields in standard tables objects, or we can even create a custom objects and create integration between those two. And that will actually I show you in the demo. But before I go to the Visual Studio Code, I will just quickly run on high-level process how this looks like. So idea is first that, as Renato said, everything is based on integration tables. Basically, these integration tables are representation of Dataverse data inside the Business Central. So once we created this integration table, the next step is to create a page for that integration table and also to create page actions for this manual coupling or manual synchronization that users from Business Central can achieve. Once we achieve those two, the next two steps are basically creating table mapping and field mapping for our tables. It is also important to know that those two are a really new feature. I mean, creating manually table mapping and field mapping is a new feature inside the Business Central. So basically, users can manually add a new table mappings. What they need actually is this integration table. And as I said, that this integration table is basically a Dataverse representation in Business Central. That means that we need to create data table, and we won't do it manually. Idea is because we have all of these standard Dataverse fields that doesn't make sense to do it manually. So Microsoft come there with a simple tool called AL Table Proxy Generator, which basically helps us to create this AL table. This is part of the AL language Visual Studio extension. And basically inside the map there, I will show you, you can find the exe file and you can just run the script with parameters and you will get the AL table file. What is also important, from version 13 of AL language, they introduced two new parameters needed to run the script. And these are client ID and redirect URI. It is because Microsoft removed the default Entra application from this tool. The reason was security issues. And now what we need to do in order to use AL Table Proxy Generator, we need to create our own Entra application. I will now just show you how we can create a custom table in AL with AL Table Proxy Generator, and I already created that Entra application, so I won't drive with that. So if I go to my PowerShell, I don't know, yeah, you can see it. The first thing, we need to move ourselves to the file folder where the AL Table Proxy Generator is located. So basically, as I said, this is a part of AL language extension, and inside of this, we have this exe file. Idea will be then to just specify parameters that we need. So we will just define what is our project, what is our PT extension, where are our AL packages, basically where are our simple stores. We need to define the Dataverse URL and what entity from Dataverse we want to connect to. As Renato said, we have this business case for rent-a-car. So basically what we want to do, we want to just achieve our master data vehicle to be able to be data synced. And these two new parameters are just, as I said, client ID and redirect URI. And once I run this command, I will need to authenticate myself. I don't know, how many of you actually used this tool before? Okay, quite some hands. Then after I authenticate myself, this is my controls environment, so it doesn't matter for the password. And of course, I need to multi-factor authentication to enable. Once we are ready, we'll see that here system is retrieving entity metadata, and one file is created. So basically, when I go into my Visual Studio Code, I will get here a new table. It is red because I already have this table created, so I will just delete it and go to another one. Do you see my Visual Studio Code good? Should I enlarge it, maybe? Maybe I can a bit. So before I show a data sync from the code perspective, I will just run you quickly through the objects that we have in our solution. So basically what we have is the vehicle master data table where we store all information about vehicle. This is a vehicle type, make, model, etc. Nothing special. Another level of, we have our transaction data into loan header and loan lines. Basically, we want to create loan orders. There, we will just create those orders. They can be in different states. We will show later when we will showing business events in Business Central how we can utilize these states. And then after the loans are returned, we will just create the returned loan orders. Okay, now let's go to data sync. As I said, this is my Dataverse representation, Dataverse data representation inside the Business Central. What I did, I created a page based on the table, and also I created a data sync code unit where I will just run you quickly through steps what we need to do. So first thing that we need to do here is basically we need to define our coupling for our tables. So that means that we will say when it comes to coupling, we will just connect vehicle, our standard table, to our Dataverse vehicle table. Next step will be we want to connect our custom page when it comes our RM vehicle table to Business Central to actions. So we will just subscribe to onLookup CRM tables, and then we will here just define that it uses our table. Once we have that, we need to enable deep linking between Dataverse and Business Central table. I know that this is a bit of code. I will all of this code publish later on my GitHub, so you will be able to check it further deeper if you are interested. And once we enable deep linking, the last step is for us to create actual table mapping and field mapping. So basically, we will say map our vehicle table to this Dataverse representation integration table, and map them on vehicle ID and use modified on to know the changes. And here we just defined what fields we actually wanted to map. Once we published our solution, I will just go into my Business Central, and I will go into my vehicles. If I see here, for example, the first vehicle that I have is Ford C-Max, and let's say that we have a typo here, maybe it should be called like this. If I go to and the next step, what I will do is basically I just want to run synchronization. This is usually done through batch jobs to job queues, so we don't need to worry about this. I will just now simply write manually. Basically, I will say synchronize and send data to Dataverse. And you see job in background was started, and I can notice that for some reason record is not changed. Let's see the vehicle table in Dataverse. Okay. It is changed. You see Ford C-Max. So that was basically it, how we can connect the data sync between master data. Now we will just move further, and Renato will continue with virtual tables, and after the virtual tables, I will show how we can connect our transactional data with virtual tables. So.
Okay, thank you, Milan. In the end, it was synced. Usually, you need to just refresh once more batch job, history of batch jobs, and then you will see that it is synced as well. Okay, so we have data sync enabled. Data sync works bidirectionally, so we can also show you that it will work from Dataverse to BC. Next way how we can integrate Business Central with Dataverse is using virtual tables. And how virtual tables works, they works based on the API tables or API pages and API calls. Meaning that each time when you need data from Business Central, Dataverse will ask Business Central through API, give me data from your table. We will see that we need to build API pages, so to establish communication. And then once we have data inside the Dataverse, we can use them in Power Apps or Power Pages. What is very interesting is that business events will respect business logic behind that is built inside the Business Central. So in our case, you will see that, for example, we cannot enter end mileage less than start mileage because it is some restriction or business logic built inside the Business Central by my developer. And how this is integrated in one graph. So we have Business Central again on the one side, and we have API pages inside the Business Central that can be custom one or that can be standard one developed by Microsoft. Then we have integration or APIs, and on the right side we have Dataverse. To enable virtual tables and integration between virtual tables and Dataverse, we need to have installed business virtual tables application that will then be responsible for communication between Business Central and Dataverse. And then once we have this installed, we will see our data inside the Dataverse. Also, if you are using your custom APIs, custom pages, you can plug them and use them in Dataverse. Also, what is very important to know that data in this scenario is not stored inside the Dataverse, so it will not consume any storage inside the Dataverse. Also, from the latest releases, we have some new things. This is synthetic relationships inside the Dataverse, where you can link your standard table in Dataverse that is created by DataSync with several virtual tables that are coming from Business Central. In our case, we will see how we can link with synthetic relationship vehicles with loan lines inside the Dataverse. And of course, now when we have theory, let's see how we can enable virtual tables. And story is similar like with DataSync. So we need to go to assisted setup and run Dataverse connection setup. But this time you will select that you want to enable virtual tables and business events. Once you enable it, you need to accept as well terms and conditions. Then choose your Dataverse environment. In this case, it can be the same one that you are using for your DataSync. Then you will sign in with your admin account. And then, of course, when you sign in, you will need to install this application that is responsible for connection between Business Central and Dataverse. Yep, I will go next. Okay, install virtual table app. You will find it under your environments that it is installed. Once it is installed, it will provision several managed solutions responsible for whole setup between Business Central and your Dataverse. Okay, once this is done, you can refresh your setup page and you will be ready to use virtual tables. Before you do this, of course, you need to enable virtual tables inside the Business Central because it is not enabled by design. So this is the application that you need to install. So it is Business Central Virtual Table app on the store. And as I said, it will create several solutions inside the Dataverse environment. And all those solutions are responsible for making Dataverse integration works with virtual tables. It will show you also all your custom APIs, custom business events, standard business events, as well as standard tables. And it will support you as well for all your setup inside the Dataverse. And now I will go and show you this inside the BC. Okay, so if I go to my Dataverse connection setup, my virtual tables are here. I see that it is already that they are already enabled. So I did this earlier. And what I can find here is virtual table app source app. If I open it, it will open in my new tab this table. It is already installed, and it's of course free. Virtual tables config, so you can see what how we are connected to which environment and which company. Available virtual tables. So if I click on this, I will see what are all API pages that we can use inside and enable inside the Business Central and represent their data inside the Dataverse. We see here that we have some fixed assets, some standard from Microsoft, and of course we have something related to our business case. So how you can enable it, you can just select one and click enable. Batch job will be scheduled and it will automatically enable within a few seconds. And also what you can do is, you can, as I said, enable synthetic relationship, but we will show you this a little bit later. Once you have virtual tables connected and ready, you will find here under the solutions, managed, all those solutions that I mentioned in my slides. So those are the solutions built, provisioned automatically. So for example, if you go to Business Central Virtual Tables and under Custom API, you will see our business events here as well. And of course, I can find my custom business events as well. If I go to tables and navigate to tables, I will see my virtual tables that are exposed inside the environment. Or if I navigate here to my apps, I will find Business Central Configuration Model-Driven App. Okay, where I can see as well all available tables. So the same screen as I have in Business Central, I can also attack from the Dataverse. If I have some synthetic relationships, I will find them here as well. Configuration. So if I click on the configuration, I can see what is my configuration. So same screen as in BC. And of course, I have my companies here as well. Good. If I go back to configuration and Business Central, you will find out here refresh business event action, which will, if you don't see your business events or you did some modifications on them, you will need to refresh this to fetch new business events changes. And that was about virtual tables demystified. And now, Milan,
Thanks,
I will
Renato.
switch to you.
So yeah, now Renato explained how virtual tables actually worked. And before I go to Visual Studio Code, you can imagine it is really simple. What we need to do, basically, we will just create custom API pages. So idea is now to connect these lone header and lone lines that we have into our custom solution to Dataverse. So I will just quickly go to my code and show you how I did it. So I will just go to my code here, and since we have header and lines tables, what we will do, basically, as I said, I will just create a simple API page. I mean, this is, again, it is not that hard. We just need to define all the parameters when we need it for API page, and then we will export the fields that we need for our solution later. So basically, I exported contact informations and also some status and start date and end date. The same thing I did also for lone lines. So basically, I created the same thing for the lone line table. I also did I was just playing with virtual tables. So what I did, I created a API page which is said lone orders. So basically, it consists of lone header and then lone lines. So basically, what I have all of the data from header, and then I just embedded my lone lines at the end. So basically, maybe we won't need two tables. Maybe we can have everything with one table. Yeah, Javier, no, we will see in the real case scenario that this doesn't make sense, because if we have multiple lines, system will not know how to create this record in that table. So if I just move back to my Dataverse, and if I just search loan order. This is the one that I told you. So basically, what will system do? It will just ignore all of the lines part, and it will just use the loan header. And this is a really good example why not all of the API pages are good idea for virtual tables. So because of that, Microsoft by default disabled all APIs, and then if you need any of these as virtual tables, you will just enable it, as Renato showed. So basically, now when I showed you loan line or loan header, if I come, for example, to Business Central and go to my loan order, and if I change, I don't know, end date, let's say, what will happen here if I will just go back to loan, and if I open the loan header, you will notice that data will be changed. And the reason is what happened in the background. Basically, this virtual table app from App Source that Renato explained basically send a request from Dataverse to get all of the data, or all of the new data from Business Central. So if I just switch right, you will see that end date is changed. If I move it back to the, I don't know, 19, and if I go back, you'll notice here, then if I open it again, it is 19. Because API pages are APIs doing the changes in the background. And that was it from my part of the APIs and virtual tables. Now Renato will be able to play a bit with synthetic relationship, a new feature from Microsoft.
Okay. Yes, so now we have two demos to go. One is the synthetic relationship, and then the second one is how we can build some Power Apps applications based on the virtual tables. And as I said, to start playing with synthetic relationships, we go to Dataverse connection setup. And here under the synthetic relations, I will see that I already created one relationship between my vehicle table and Dataverse table. If I want to create a new one, I'll click New. I'll click Native Dataverse table. So this is the table that exists inside the Dataverse that I want to use. So let's try if account will work, or contact. And the virtual table is the one that is representing, that is virtual table inside the Dataverse. And this doesn't need to be your contact table. It can be any table that is connected somehow with your contacts. In our case, we have on loan header, we have information about contact, and I will click then next. Okay, on how many fields you want to connect, so I would say one field, and then, okay, please choose the CRM table. And now the thing is that you need to connect your number from your field from the CRM table or Dataverse with field from BC. And we see that here we don't have a field NO that is usually used to map. So I will just cancel and return back. And I will try to show you our connection that I already built. So here I can see that I have my native entity, which is my master data, in this case, vehicle. I have my loan order line. So this is the virtual entity. And I see that I have a field from my vehicle table number, and vehicle number is in my lines. So this is the very easy and simple synthetic relationship between vehicle and loan order line. Okay, what this means now when it's available, if I go back to Power Apps, and if I click on Apps, create a new app, let me see here, and then Vehicles, where it is, tables, vehicle. Okay, I will open my table. I'll create a new application, BC TechDays 24. in a few seconds, I will get my Dataverse table, mobile-driven model-driven application based on my table vehicle, which is normal table inside the Dataverse. Okay. Okay. Let's see the data soon. Okay, if I go back here, okay, if I now play with it, if I run that application, okay, I see my vehicles, and for example, if I go to this one, I see information about my vehicle, but here in the related, you will now see that I have data from my loan order lines. So this is my synthetic relationship, and if I click on loan order line, I will see that I have my loan information from my loan document. If I open it, again, I can see that I have my details about my order lines. So because my vehicle is part of my loan lines. And then I can have here whatever I want. I can play, I can edit data, and so on. So that is the synthetic relationship. And yeah, we have our application that is built on top of real Dataverse table. But now I will go back and build one application that is on top of virtual table. And I will go back to my tables, all, and then I find loan order line. Okay, and I will create an app immediately. Return, for example, because I want to register when someone is returning my car from the rental car, that what is the mileage and so on. Okay, if I play, I will see my loan order lines. I have this one where I have my car Peugeot, and then I see that I have some start mileage that is now that was brought from my master data, and then I, for example, can enter here some number. For example, if what I told you before, if I try to save this, I will see and receive an error, meaning that Business Central and Dataverse and model-driven app will respect what is going on with business logic inside the Business Central. This is also applicable for drop-downs or lookup fields. So if you try to, for example, in fixed asset, you have a responsible person as a person. If you try to assign some fixed asset to a person that doesn't exist inside the Business Central, you will as well receive an error inside the model-driven app. But if I put something normal, so 19,000, and I save and close, things should work. And now if I navigate to my BC, loan orders, this one, yeah, it's automatically updated. So that is the application based on the virtual tables. And now we will continue with business events.
Yeah, thanks, Renato. And I usually say about business events that they are webhooks on steroids. So how many of you actually worked with webhooks in Business Central? Few hands I see only. Okay, then it will be fun to see, to tell a few more things about webhooks. So just for you to get a feeling what they are and why the business events are more powerful than webhooks. So basically, if we go a bit even further in the past, the time when we didn't have webhooks and we wanted to connect two systems. So for example, we have Business Central and we have an external system and we wanted to sync data, for example. So external system will need to every now and then to send the request to Business Central asking, did data change? Did data change? Did data change? And then after some time, Business Central will actually reply, okay, this record is changed or data is changed. And then again, it will go again and again and again. And you can see this is not very efficient, especially if we have a multiple external system pinging our system. Then, with webhooks, what actually happened, basically, this is a mechanism for, in Business Central or in any other solution, to notify external system about some data changes. So basically, that means instead of polling the Business Central will just send the push notification to external system. So basically, it will just come and send this data is changed. And also, this is very scalable, so if multiple systems want to connect to Business Central will just send notification everywhere. So in order to see how these webhooks actually working, basically they are based on subscription. So that means that external systems need to subscribe on specific resource in Business Central to get notification about. When I said specific resource, that means specific specific API page. And when we send this subscription request, what will happen basically, Business Central will try to achieve handshake mechanism. That means it will try to reply back to the external system with a new request, passing by validation token and expecting it to get it back. Why it is working like that? Basically, Business Central just wanted to ensure that the external system actually listening for the changes. And also, what is also important here to know is that once we establish subscription, it will last for 3 days. That means that every 3 days, we need to refresh our subscription. In other words, this external system needs to have some solution, whether it will be some cron jobs or whatever, that will every 3 days ping and send the request to refresh the subscription. And as you can see, these business webhooks are based on every data change. So that means that once data is changed, we will just notify the external system. If we go a bit deep now to see how this is actually working inside the Business Central, once the Business Central external system establish subscription with Business Central, what will happen basically in the system table API webhook subscription record will be created. That means that similar as a change log functionality, it will watch for any on insert, on modify, on delete global triggers changes. And once any change occurs, system will just record it inside another system table called API webhook notification, which will then fire the background job. Basically, the task scheduler will be created a task to dispatch this notification to external system. And this is this standard code unit responsive for that. So now I will just go into my code and I will try to show you how webhooks works actually in a real example. So as I said, this external system, that doesn't mean to be Dataverse, that can be any system. So basically it can be Azure function, web application, or whatever. In our case, I just created a simple Azure function that I deployed, and it will act as external system which will listen for any changes in Business Central. So basically, if I go to my Visual Studio, what this Azure function do, basically nothing special. What I have first, as I said, I need to be able to perform handshake mechanism. So if Business Central send me validation token, I will just return back this validation token saying, okay, I'm actually listening. And then when any change occurs, I will not do anything special. I will just log that information just to see that something changed. Okay, now once we have our external system, which is our Azure function, I will just go quickly to my Azure portal, and I will open the log stream here. Okay, I'm connected. So now I will just go in the Postman, and from Postman I will try to subscribe to specific webhook, and then I will try to track changes. If, as I said, it works similar as change log, meaning every change that happens, it will notify the system. But what if, for example, external system is not interested in changes? About all changes, it is interested, for example, if sales order is released. So basically, they want to know only when sales order is released. So let's create then this example. So what I will do, I will create a post request to my subscriptions. This is basically API call for creating a subscription. What I need to put inside my body, it is basically pretty simple. I need to define notification URL. This is basically my Azure function. And I need to define which resource I want to connect to. Also, there is an additional thing that can be sent here, and this is called a client state. Basically, client state is a, I would like shared secret. Basically, since this Azure function or any other external system accept anonymous calls, so basically anyone can send the request there, with client state, we are somehow ensuring that we will accept only these calls with this. So basically, if I define the, let's say, BC TechDays client state here, then in my Azure function, I can add a logic saying, if client state is different, I will just not accept this is someone else trying to send me notification. In my demo, I will create it without client state, and I will just pause the request. Once I did this, basically, I got my response that webhook subscription is created. And what you can notice here, that expiration date time is 3 days from now. It is 16th of June. This time is basically, this is UTC time zone. Once I created this subscription to sales order, and let's say users come to the sales orders and they want to change something there. I don't know. They want to change reference, for example, and I will put here reference to be BC TechDays again. You see, we are not interested in this. We are only interested whether sales order is released or not. But still, somehow, webhooks are not that smart, so we cannot decide what changes we want to check. Basically, it will check all the changes. So if I come back to the logs, now I need to wait at least, I would say, a half a minute to get the notifications, so Business Central to process this webhook. So I can just wait for it. You can see here, this was our initial subscription request, and now we got our notification. If I use this notification, I will just copy it and put it here into this JSON DeFi tool. So basically, you can notice that I didn't get any notification what field was changed. I only get resource that was changed, basically saying, okay, this resource was changed, and I get the change type. So that means that external system still needs to send the request to the Business Central, checking what was actually changed. Now, if we move back to Business Central, our presentation, and if we move to business events, basically business events are not tracking any change that are occurring in Business Central. They are just mechanism of notifying external system when some specific actions are occurred. So basically, I don't know, this demo for releasing the order was example when business events are really good to use, because what will happen after the transaction is done in Business Central, we will just notify the external system, okay, order is actually released, and we will not care about any other changes. Because all of this business case that we talked today was connecting Business Central with Dataverse. And of course, we can connect business events with Dataverse as well. Renato will show later in Power Automate how we can create flows there. But what also we can do, we can create, connect Business Central with any other external system through business events. How business events look like? So basically, they are also based on subscription model like webhooks. The only difference here is that subscription will not expire. So that means we don't need to every 3 days to refresh this subscription, and also no handshake is needed. So basically, once we subscribe, external systems don't need to worry about performing handshake. And as I said, these business events are really good tool for processing notification. When we talk about standard business events, Microsoft introduced this two versions ago as a part of AL App Extension repository, where basically what they did, they created a custom external events app. You will notice in the system that Microsoft wasn't consistent here. So in one place they are calling it external events, another place it calls it business events, and somewhere they also call it external business events. So we'll just call it business events here. And they group all of these standard business events into 5 different categories. So basically, I will show later in the code, you will see this is nothing else but just the different enum values. And basically, we have different events in accounts payable, accounts receivable, sales, purchasing, and for opportunities. So basically, we don't need to create our custom business event for sales order releasing. We just can connect to standard one. And now I will just quickly show you how we can extend and create our custom business events, and how also we can connect those to external systems. So what I will do, firstly, I will go just in my code and I will show you our case. So basically, in our loan orders, we have 2 actions. We can loan, our loan order can go into loan state, or after someone returns vehicles, we will just put it into return state. So what we are interested, we just wanted to have business events when order is loaned and when order is basically returned. So how we create a business events, it is very simple. As that, first, what we need to do is we need to extend the event category enum, where we will add our own category and we will call it loans. Then into business events, as I said, we will create vehicle return and vehicle loan business event. It is pretty simple. As I said, Microsoft is not consistent, so here it's called external business event. And we will say what is the name, what is the display name of this business event, and in which category they is. And also we will define the version. Idea is that we shouldn't change the business events if we want to, I don't know, create additional parameter. Idea is to just obsolete the standard existing one and to add a new version or new version of the business event, because we don't want to break existing integrations. In our case, we wanted just to send as much information as needed for Renato, so later then he don't need to get again the records from Business Central, all the information that we need, we will just send to him. So as any other event, those 2 events are simple use like that, and then into our subscribers, we just subscribe to on after return and on after loan vehicle. What is important to know with business events, so basically they are sent once transaction is done. So basically, if there are 5 events fired inside one transaction, they will be just put together and sent as one notification to external system. And you will see that also in the code. Now, once I have business events, let's create a subscription. So I will go again back in the Postman. And what I will do, basically, I will first, I will show you that there is available business events. So basically, we have a endpoint where we can get all of the external business events that are available. So if I send this request, you will notice all of these standard ones and also our custom business events. What is important to know, you will see when we are creating subscription for business events, we also need to pass this parameter app ID of where business event is actually created. So this app ID is important for us, and also in payload we can see all of the parameters, all of the data that will business events throw to us. So if I go to my post business event subscription, in the body, as I said, we need to put app ID, we need to put sales order released in this case, and we need to put notification URL. As this Azure function that I created for webhook, it will also act as our external system that we are connecting to. But instead of using sales order released, I will connect to loan order, so basically for vehicle loan. So what I need to copy vehicle loan, and I need to copy app ID. I will just here put it. And I will send the request. And you will see that our subscription is created. So that means that every time when we actually go to our loan orders, I will go now. And let's say we have this loan which has 2 vehicles here. So basically in our code, basically 2 business events will be fired. But that won't be 2 different events sent to notification URL. It will be only one bundle together. And this is how the system works. And Renato show you later in Power Automate, I'm not sure whether it is by design or it is bug in Power Automate, but Power Automate flow will be triggered twice in the scenario. And that is not basically the thing that we looked for. So if I come here and if I put my status to loan, and if I go back to the Azure function logs, we should be able to see business event here. Sometimes, and in the last few days, once we tested these business events, sometimes they occur to not be that stable. They are still in preview, so they usually works good, but sometimes it could happen that they are not that stable. Okay. So for some reason, business event wasn't fired. I will just check. Okay, I see. There is additional step that we need to create. Basically, this event version that I said, if we don't specify them, it will by default put the empty event version. And the event that I created in my code, it is basically with event version 1, and the one that I created subscription is empty. So what I need to create here, I need to basically create a subscription to event version 1.
Typo.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, you can see we created a new event subscription with a correct version. So now if I go back in Business Central also, and if I will just reopen and loan again, and now if I go back, you see there is the business event was fired. So now, as I said, it is fired once, not 2 times, and basically, if I copy this again here, you will notice that I have 2 lines actually changed. And you can see with the business events, I can pass by as much information as I want. So basically in my payload, I send document, contact information, also what is vehicle number, name, and document ID. And this is really the real power of these business events. What is also interesting, if you are interested about subscriptions in business events, so out of the box, you can see here inside the Business Central those standard pages. So basically, I will open just business event subscription. And you can see here all of the systems that are connected to something. So basically, all of these systems are connected to vehicle loan here. Also, you can notice here activity log, basically stating whether subscription was created, or here, in this case, you can see that successfully sent notification. And we have it 2 times because we have 2 lines, but it is bundled as one. And with that, I will pass back to Renato. He will continue and show you how you can use these business events in Power Automate.
Okay, thank you, Milan. Very nice and very powerful, actually. I really like those new business events inside Business Central, because it also opens a lot of possibility for me as a consultant to build some powerful automation. As it says, so business events will enable us to have outbound integration with Power Platform and to trigger Power Automate flow based on the Business Central connector, or I can utilize as well Dataverse connector and trigger that is called when an action is performed. So there I will also find my business events from the Business Central. Once I have data inside the Power Automate flow, I can do whatever I want with it. And it's very important that you agree with your colleague's developer what kind of data he wants to give to you and what kind of data you need for that. So you don't need, for example, to, once the business event is triggered, that you need again to go call another API to get data from the Business Central database. As I said, we have 2 triggers. One is a Business Central connection, a connector, which is still in preview, so when a business event occurs. And another one that is not in preview is Dataverse, standard Dataverse connector when an action is performed. And now I would like to show you how this works on several demos, which I prepared for this presentation. Okay, so if I go to Power Automate Flow, I will go here first. We have some standard, Milan said that we have some standard business events. And I will open one of the flows that I built earlier. Okay, and what this flow is doing, he is listening my business events, then getting adaptive card from the Business Central and posting that card into Microsoft Teams or channel. Okay, what I have here, so I need to specify my environment, what is my event, so what is my business event, like this. So I see some standard when customer is blocked, so Microsoft thinks that this is very useful. Or I can see also when vehicle is loaned or when vehicle is returned. Business events that Milan developed for our business case. Okay, I have them here. I used purchase order released. So when purchase order receives status released, either after approval or if you don't using approval, we want to post some message. Okay, I'm getting adaptive card from that, and then I'm posting this into my Teams. So very simple flow that will work. Okay, so this is something based on the standard. But if I have my custom, I have it here. This is my first example. What I want to do and what I want to achieve, we said, okay, when we loaning our or issuing our car to contact, we want to also have some notification inside the Teams in this case. So I'm using again my vehicle loaned business event. Okay, and then if I go here, I need to specify to get URL of my record. I need to specify what is my page of for that loan, and of course I need to specify document ID for which I'm getting. If I take a look, I will see all the fields here that Milan developed inside the business event, so document number, contact number, and so on. So you can combine in one business event data from header and from the lines. Okay, I have this get URL, and then I'm posting some adaptive card inside the channel that I created. So This adaptive card JSON is something that I created manually here in Adaptive Card Designer, so where you can select Microsoft Teams, what is the target version, and then you can design your adaptive card for your needs. Okay, so I passed information from my trigger. So this is my trigger here, all the data about trigger, and as well here. Okay, what is now happening? If I turn this on, I will turn on my flow. Okay, and let's now go to Business Central, and I have loan orders, and I have this one, right? Okay, and if I say, okay, I want to loan it, okay, we have status has been changed, and let's see if our flow will run successfully. Okay, 3 seconds ago, yeah, it succeeded. Okay, if I navigate to my Teams demo test, I will see my information from my Business Central and data that was passed from my business event. Of course, I can now click here on View, and it will open as well as any other adaptive card that you can use with Business Central data. So very easily you can track statuses of your documents and so on. Another example that I would like to show you on how you can combine Power Automate with the whole Business Central scenario is returns. So we said in our business case that once we return our vehicle, we want to say send a thank you note to our customer. So I have this loan order, and I have one Power Automate return vehicle. What I have here, if I open it, here I'm using something different and another trigger, so which is manual trigger. So when first selected a record inside the Business Central, then I'm getting information about my record that is selected inside the Business Central. In this case, it is the loan order table, and I'm getting the information about system ID. I'm sending an email to my contact, which is contact email, which I have on my header, and then I'm running some action inside the Business Central using Power Automate. So, and I will run the action return vehicle. Okay, if I turn this on again. Okay. Come on. Turn on. Okay, it is on, perfect. And now if I go to my loan orders, and I click on this document, and I click Actions, Automate, in a few seconds you will see here Return Order Power Automate. Okay, I will just click on it. In a few seconds I will get a side pane for my flow. Here I can also add some inputs. So for example, I will attach invoice, and I will attach some other documents that I will going to send to my user, to my contact. When I click run, it will succeed, and in a few seconds I should get an email, hopefully here, yes. In my case, yeah, thank you for working with us, and details about from my action that Milan created. Okay, I was also I have possibility also to achieve this with business events, right? So what I'm going to do in this case, I will just listen when my loan order is changed status to returned, trigger a business event inside the Power Automate. Okay, those are the business events with Power Automate, and now we are going to switch to telemetry.
Thanks, Renato. And of course, everyone is talking about telemetry, and last few years at every conference there is at least one session about telemetry. So I won't talk much in general about telemetry. I will assume that all of you already know what that is and that you are using it much. So I will just focus on telemetry for business events. So if we talk about telemetry for business events, we basically have 4 different event IDs that we can track. So basically, we can track whether business event subscription is created, whether this subscription is deleted, and then we also can track did event trigger successfully or not, whether it is failed to send. And now I will just quickly go, since we are running out of time, I will just quickly go to our application insights, and I will try to run each of these event IDs so for you just to see what information we can get there. So I will switch to my application insights here, and I will just run traces where our custom dimension, okay, this custom dimensions event ID is equal, let's say, firstly, 40. So basically, this is all of the subscriptions that are created successfully in last 24 hours. If we open any of these, inside the custom dimensions, we will see interesting data, actually, useful data. I don't know. Okay, I think you can see it. I'll do like this. So what we can see inside the custom dimensions, what is relevant, we can see what event name, basically what is the business event that someone subscribed to, what is the version of the event, and the most useful information, what is basically this external system that is subscribing to our business event. Similar, we can check for business events that are canceled subscription. So as I said, here subscription will not be automatically canceled. It will not expire after 3 days. So if you are not interested anymore in this business event, you need to do it manually. So again, here you can see all of these similar information. Again, we can see business event name, and we can see which external system was unsubscribed from it. And the one which should be useful, and it turns that it is not that much, is basically which business events are triggered. So here we can see every occurrence of these triggered business events, but there aren't any actual much of the information needed here. So what we only can see here, we can see what is the business event that occurred, but we don't have idea to which external system basically data is sent. And with this, I will stop with telemetry. I will say that if you are maybe interested in telemetry for virtual tables, you can maybe see API calls that are sent, web service calls that are sent from the Business Central, so you can check what Business Central virtual tables are used. Or also, if you are using synthetic relationship, this is a new feature from Microsoft. For that feature is enable feature telemetry, so you can also check it inside the telemetry. And before we finish for today, I will just say a few key takeaways. So, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we came to the end of our session. And yeah, the key takeaways, so we have several possibilities to integrate Business Central and Dataverse. And it all depends on the business case that you have and then how you want to build it. We have data sync that replicates data from the Business Central to the Dataverse. It works via batch jobs. So those are the details about data sync. Virtual tables, on the other hand, they work through APIs and they are querying your Business Central. They are not storing data inside the Dataverse. And as well, they are also respecting the business logic that was built inside the Business Central.
Yeah, and if you are connecting tracking for changes inside the Business Central, there are 2 ways, either through webhooks or through business events. What is really important to know about webhooks, it will check any change that happens, and you will not get actually information what has changed. You need to send additional requests. When we are talking a bit about business events, they are basically systems for notifying some process changes. And of course, you can use telemetry to check how the systems are performing on all of these features. And with this, we are open for your questions now, and the fun part starts because I want to try to throw it. Okay.
Interesting session, and I have multiple questions here.
Okay.
Maybe I just ask one. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any security issues you have to consider when using the virtual tables and the connectors? You have to protect the data and how GDPR is taken into account. And
When we are connecting with, sorry, I didn't hear the complete question.
is there any security issues you have to?
Security issues with connecting to
Yes.
Dataverse, for example.
And how do you protect your data?
So basically, since this is all on cloud, on Microsoft Cloud, this is basically responsibility from Microsoft, and we are believing that they will protect everything.
And it's in the same subscription that the Business Central is. So, for example, if I'm in North Europe, then
Okay, so that way you have this client state that I said. Basically, with client state, you can create this shared secret, I would say, and with this, you will protect that not anyone can send a request to you. It will be only the one who knows the client state.
okay.
So I think you.
I will ask the rest of the questions.
Yeah, of course, we will be here until tomorrow. Maybe you can pass it. Yeah.
Hello. You showed that we can use webhooks to from events from Business Central. Is there any way to do this the other way around? Like
So
if we
Business Central, yeah, of course, Business Central can we can implement some integration like with the APIs, web service, where we will just be the one listening.
but we cannot subscribe like to webhooks or something, or what? How would you do this?
So if we have webhook, so you want
I've an external system, and I don't want to pull from the system constantly, like we would have to do without webhooks. But I want to be able to get a notification and then process this in Business Central.
okay. So in other way around, that means that we can expose the system and just someone can send us the request in Business Central. So we can expose the API, and if something is changed, someone can just call us and say, okay, this has changed. If I correct it. We have one there, I think so. No, worries.
And this is for you.
Great presentation. Thank you, Renato and Milan. Today we see many services and integrations, but what about license? Example, business events. Do you need extra license for this part?
Renato is master for licenses, but apart from the Business Central perspective, you don't need any extra licenses. Only maybe if you are connected with Power Automate, but I also think it
You
comes
need Power
out.
Automate license.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Maybe you can pass it. Here, sorry.
Last one.
What I'm wondering, we're going to do a lot with APIs in the future. Aren't we running into limits in the number of API requests we can do?
Yeah, it depends. If you are talking about, there are some limits and on Business Central, and Microsoft keeps just putting these limits to be more and more. So basically, these limits are currently pretty high. So if, I don't know from my head, but I know that they moved from environment to user perspective of limits. So they are limiting how many requests you can send by intra-app, not on complete environment. So I think these limits are pretty high currently. So, okay, can you? Yeah.
And this
Sorry.
Okay, I have one question. So you showed how when we use virtual tables and we put some data in Power Up, the triggers from Business Central are executed. Is it the same case if we use integration tables? So if we integrate two tables, one in Dataverse and one in Business Central, if we start populating the data in Power Apps,
okay.
does it execute the, for example, on validate or on insert
Yes, it will.
of the real table?
Business, but you will get this
Business
information in
Central.
the Business Central. You will not get it in the Power App.
Sorry?
You will get this information about failed synchronization inside the Business Central. Yeah.
So I will be able to create, for example, a vehicle in Dataverse, but it will be not synced with the vehicle in Business Central.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. Okay. Here, 2 questions. First here. Yeah.
Is it possible to, in business event, send complicated types like XML document, JSON object, or record?
No, basically, you have limitation. You can maybe deserialize JSON object and send this like a text, but you cannot send records or some more complex data types. Thanks. Yeah, you are so far away. I will not show it.
Thank you. My question is.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, my question is regarding the data synchronization with data happen. Is how reliable is it when we use transactional data like sales invoices transaction couple per minute on the Power Apps, and we need to ship it directly to Business Central? Can we use it with this level of data?
Yeah, you can use it, but again, it depends how often this data will change, how many data will be there. So I will definitely maybe propose to use better virtual tables for that instead of data sync, and then use data sync maybe for master data. Also with virtual tables, you will have data in one place. It won't be duplicated, I would say.
The sync is job queue based, right?
Yeah, it's job queue based. So basically, job queues are based in the background. Thanks.
More questions?
One more
But
question.
we don't have any shirts. You got only one, so we don't have the second one.
No, it's okay. But one more question about localization. So, you said that you can get the data for the option fields and stuff like that. And what happens if you have your Power App is English and your Business Central is Finnish?
Okay, so basically you can map those options. So there is a way, we didn't show it, but you can map. So basically to know to map it to correct one. So basically, if on English is yes, on Spanish is C, you can map it or define how to between those two. If you are asking me,
but you have to translate them yourself. There's no loose coupling.
But options are. I'm talking about options values.
Yes.
Basic option values will be some integers in the background. So you will just need to sync integers to be synced.
Okay.
So you don't need to worry about translation.
In Power Apps option, it's called choice. You need to define external number that will then represent in Business Central, and then you will sync option set, right, items, and then you will write your translations inside Power Apps.
Yeah.
So my question is related with field mapping. So I have a situation where I am upgrading a code from CAL to AL, and the old version is BC 14. So we have a few fields in under the 50,000 range, and I am moving the fields from 50,000 to the 50,000 range because that is allowed. So when I am mapping the fields, so I am not able to synchronize the field because in the legacy system or old system, the field ID is different, and in the new system, I added the fields in 50,000 range.
Okay.
So in that case, how can I map the fields with the new?
Yeah, you can map. So basically, Renato, basically you can define the.
No, in BC 24 it's available, but in the previous.
Yeah, no, it is not available in
so
the.
Is there any?
This is only from business.
So
for
BC 23 or the previous version.
You will need to do it basically in the code. If you want to extend the functionality, you cannot do it manually in the client. So, but from the code, you will be able to extend. Do we have
more questions?
Okay. If there is no more questions, we will be here today and tomorrow. So just step by and ask. Thanks.